Hi, and welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Linda McNamee, in for Phil Gallagher. A store chain with a Burlington location has agreed to work with the state in the wake of an investigation into its loss prevention practices. Lord & Taylor will hire an expert consultant to review and improve its shoplifting prevention policies and procedures, train its staff, and pay $100,000 to resolve an investigation into racial discrimination, Attorney General Maura Healey announced on Tuesday. The Attorney General's office said that the settlement agreement between Lord & Taylor, LLC, and the Attorney General's office concludes an investigation into the company's loss prevention practices and policies, covering all 4 of Lord & Taylor's Massachusetts stores: Boston, Braintree, Burlington, and Natick. The Attorney General's investigation arose out of concerns that the company's efforts to prevent shoplifting created a climate of racial and ethnic bias, resulting in, among other things, the disproportionate targeting of Black and Hispanic customers for surveillance and apprehension. Healey's office said Lord & Taylor fully cooperated with the AG's Civil Rights Division during its investigation and in agreeing to proactively address these issues. Following the investigation, Lord & Taylor has agreed to take meaningful steps to improve its policies and procedures to prevent racial profiling of customers, Healey said, adding that racial profiling takes a toll on individuals and broader communities, even when it is the result of unconscious bias and is our collective responsibility to address it. Under the terms of the settlement, Lord & Taylor will hire an outside consultant who specializes in addressing unconscious or implicit bias in the retail industry, to conduct a thorough review of its existing shoplifting prevention policies and work with the company to make improvements, including a specific policy to prevent racial bias in the store's shoplifting prevention activities. Lord & Taylor has agreed to provide annual unconscious or implicit bias training to all of its customer-facing employees in its Massachusetts stores and to enhance the training it provides to its asset protection employees. In addition, the company will pay $100,000 to the Commonwealth to fund programs, activities, or other resources intended to combat racial discrimination and to promote racial equality and inclusion. The Burlington Veterans Service Office had their annual Veterans Day ceremony at the new flagpole and Killed in Action Memorial Wall behind Varsity Field at Burlington High School. BNews reporter Robert Paris was there and has this report.
Police, fire, and the Burlington community came out to honor our military men and women past and present. This week, the town of Burlington's Veterans Service Office and the Allied Veterans Council held their annual Veterans Day ceremony at the new flagpole and KIA Memorial Wall behind the Burlington High School varsity field. This Veterans Day was a special one, as it commemorated the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I.
We've been working on this wall, the flagpole, the plaques, for over 2 years. It was actually September of 2016 that the athletic director called me and they wanted to do something at Varsity Field. Originally it was just a flagpole, and it was going to be in the back corner where the original flagpole was. And as we started to talk, it kind of morphed into something a lot bigger.
The names on the wall were military members who served from World War I up until Iraq.
It took a while to research it. Part of the problem with some of the older names is going through the school's lists of attendees, especially when you're talking about the World War I veterans. School and education wasn't a predominant thing in people's lives like it is today. So going back and finding those records was extremely difficult.
I had a chance to speak with one of the active duty military members.
From a young age, I've always looked up to veterans, even before I knew what a veteran was. Going through high school, I was in a local junior reserve officer training corps in high school, and the instructors I had was a retired major and a retired senior chief, and they really made a huge impact on myself. So when it came time, about 10th, 11th grade, I was starting to think about what I wanted to do. The Marine Corps just stood out to me, and as the best and as that pride and that family that comes with the Marine Corps.
Take a moment to thank the men and women who are serving, served, and sacrificed their lives for our country.
Over 100 countries fought in World War I, and the mindset being that that was the war to end all wars. And then 20 years later, we were in World War II, which was worse than World War I. And I think the takeaway from that aspect is that it doesn't matter what generation you're from or what time you lived in. There's upstanding men and women that we live within our community here and elsewhere in the country that take up the call to preserve the very freedoms that we hold near and dear to our heart.
It's always good to know that America really appreciates what the military does to help protect these civilians in this country.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you to our men and women in our armed services. Temple Shalom Emeth had a special guest speaker to commemorate the 80th anniversary of Kristallnacht, the dark night that marked the start of the outright Nazi aggression against Jewish citizens. BNews reporter Rich Hosford was there and has this look.
Last Friday, people gathered at Temple Shalom Emeth in Burlington to remember a dark day in human history and to reaffirm to each other and the community that such a thing can never be allowed to happen again. The gathering was to remember Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, and to acknowledge its 80th anniversary. On November 9th to November 10th, 1938, in an incident known as Kristallnacht, Nazis in Germany torched synagogues, vandalized Jewish homes, schools, and businesses, and killed close to 100 Jewish people, all while authorities looked on without intervening. Kristallnacht was followed by additional economic and political persecutions of Jewish people and is viewed by historians as part of the Nazi Germany's broader radical policy and the beginning of the final solution and the Holocaust. The guest speaker for the evening was Marv Goldschmidt, the son of Susan and Otto Goldschmidt, two people who were the only members of their families who didn't leave Europe prior to the Holocaust who survived and eventually made it to the United States. Marv said every Kristallnacht has meaning, but this one, being the 80th anniversary, but also because of recent events like the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, have shown that hatred is still a force that must be resisted.
Historically, we've been listening to the echoes of the past, and unfortunately, I think more and more people are beginning to be frightened and concerned that we're listening to the drumbeat of the future. And so people's awareness of what's going on, based on history, based on understanding what we have done to each other in the past, and understanding that we can stop these things, that we're empowered, is really what I think this year is about. And I hope tonight, by reminding people of two particular lives, that it will encourage them to take the next step in trying to affect the world.
During his talk, Marv showed an artifact that was a powerful reminder of what his parents went through, his father's Auschwitz-issued shirt, complete with the number Nazi Germany gave him and tattooed onto his arm. That was his only clothes for 3 years in the concentration camp and for months after the war as he traveled Europe trying to get his life back together. The shirt has never been clean and still has a stain from Otto Goldschmidt's blood.
It's not meant to shock. It's meant to make tangible what the reality is that people went through. Again, this is not to shock. It's to remind people this is real. Clearly what happened in Pittsburgh didn't remind people, it made real a situation that is very difficult out there, not just for Jews. I think that's clearly a focus. It's difficult for lots of smaller groups and some larger groups who are being marginalized and victimized and basically being treated as subhuman. That's not something we can allow to continue happening.
Marv said he ends his talk with a story about when he was 8 years old and he asked his father why more people didn't leave their homes in Germany and the surrounding countries ahead of the Nazi threat. He said the answer he received helped form his worldview and is a lesson to those gathered to hear him speak.
And he said, and this is close to his accent, well, that was our home. And nothing like that can ever happen in our home. And this is your home. And nothing like that can happen in this home until it does. I was 8 years old. I think that what I want people to leave with is that we're always standing on the precipice of danger. We do that with the environment, we do that with lots of things, but now we're doing it against each other, again. And we shouldn't be the frog in the lukewarm water. We should be aware of what's going on and be the frog who jumps out of the boiling water.
At Temple Shalom Emeth, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
Thank you, Rich. A Burlington-based business is in the works to sell one of its divisions as part of a plan to focus its resources on new technologies. The Boston Business Journal reported that Nuance Communication Incorporated is planning to sell its paperwork imaging business to California-based Kofax Incorporated for $400 million. The sale is part of the company's new CEO's plan to streamline the organization around artificial intelligence conversation technology. According to the news report, the deal for the document imaging division, which creates technology that allows companies to securely digitize and manage paperwork, should be closed within the next 6 months. The division reported revenue of $217 million in fiscal year 2017 and was 11% of Nuance's total annual revenue. Nuance is an American-based multinational computer software technology corporation that provides speech recognition, artificial intelligence, and imaging applications, its Wikipedia entry states. Current business products focus on server and embedded speech recognition, telephone call steering systems, automated telephone directory services, medical transcription software and systems, optical character recognition software, and desktop imaging software. The company's market valuation is roughly $4.8 billion. School Resource Officer Keith Shepard gave a presentation of the dangers of teen vaping to Burlington parents interested in learning more about the issue. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak was there and has this look.
While smoking seems almost taboo to
Vaping, juuling, e-cigarettes. The FDA is calling teen vaping an epidemic and recently mandated that the top 5 manufacturers of e-cigarettes to come up with plans to reverse the underage use of their products. Burlington is no exception to this ubiquitous trend, and the Burlington Police Department and Burlington schools are making a concerted effort to stop the habit in Burlington teens. School Resource Officer Keith Shepard gave a presentation at Burlington High School's recent Parent-Teacher Conference Night.
Tonight I've been asked to come out and do a quick presentation on juuling, not just juuling, but vaping in general, e-cigarettes, whatever you want to term it as. We've had a little bit of a situation in town with the kids in both middle school and high school, and as you'll see a part of the presentation, they're considering it an epidemic. So we want to present that to the parents and see if we can answer any questions.
I will take the criticism that we should have known. I will take that criticism, but we know...
The term juuling comes from the dominant e-cigarette brand Juul, who holds 72% of the market.
All of these products basically provide vapors, but juuling itself has nicotine only in the product. They don't make any without nicotine. So a lot of the kids aren't aware of this, and they're getting into a situation where they're trying these Juuls out, which are easy to get and very easily addicted to the high concentrates of nicotine that are in these.
Vaping devices can appear inconspicuous, with some even resembling USB thumb drives, and they can be easy to sneak around. Burlington High School Principal Mark Sullivan.
We do confiscate some of the devices, but we have a large group of kids that are now traveling together in bathrooms together, so it's more about the behavior than the actual devices themselves that we are noticing. Obviously, we walk into the bathrooms and there's 12 boys hanging out. There's obviously something going on. So then we'll start seeing the devices when we catch them in the act or they're in the bathrooms, things like that.
They've actually cut down on how many people are allowed in the bathroom at once. They're making more efforts to monitor the hallways and the bathrooms, because that's one of the biggest things we found last year was the kids were meeting up in the bathrooms, and that was their place to have their e-cigs.
The trends that we're seeing here at the school, we're trying to be proactive and educate, parents on the different things that we're seeing. So we'll probably offer another presentation sometime in the spring, and we hope to get a good turnout for that.
Well, we want to get information out. We want to let people know that these things aren't meant for someone who's a kid. They're supposed to be under 21, at least in Burlington they are. I know some surrounding towns are still 18, but I think over the next 3 years the laws have it all at 21. These are meant for someone to get off cigarettes. And having met with the people from Juul and lots of other people that make these products, that's solely what they're intended for. However, the big problem is the kids are interested in it, they're using it, and they don't know anything about it.
From Burlington High School, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tad. In related news, a leading e-cigarette company is pulling products studies have shown are popular among teens from store shelves. Juul Labs announced on Tuesday that it is immediately pulling 4 of its flavored vaping pods from all retail locations and making them available online only with new online age verification systems meant to ensure they are purchased by adults only. The change came after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, released plans to limit the sales of flavored tobacco products, including new age verification requirements. Juul Labs also closed its Instagram and Facebook pages because they are often used by youths and is working to eliminate third-party posts promoting its products to young people. Juul Labs CEO Kevin Burns said in a statement that the goal of his company is to help adults quit traditional cigarettes, not to be a mode for young people to begin using nicotine. Burns said one issue his company identified when it comes to teens and vaping is the offering of flavored options, and he agreed with the FDA that flavors play an important role in driving the youth appeal. As of today, he added, the company will stop selling mango, fruit, cream, and cucumber Juul pods in the over 90,000 retail stores that sell its products. These flavored products will now only be available at the company's website, where customers will have to provide their name, date of birth, permanent address, and the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. This information will be verified by a third party and cross-referenced with publicly available records to confirm the person is at least 21 years of age. A scam that hides beneath a fun-sounding holiday gift exchange is once again making the rounds, and authorities are warning residents not to fall for it. The Secret Sister gift exchange, first started in 2015, is making the rounds on social media, especially on Facebook, the Better Business Bureau warns. The way the gift scam works is a post will go up on social media claiming that participants will receive up to 36 gifts in exchange for sending one gift valued at $10. Users are encouraged to invite others to participate in the holiday gift exchange, where they will receive information on where to mail gifts. An exchange might look like the graphic you see here. This might seem harmless enough, but the Better Business Bureau says there's one big problem with the gift chains like Secret Sister. They're pyramid schemes. The U.S. Postal Inspection Services says that gift exchanges are illegal gambling and that participants could be subject to penalties for mail fraud. Pyramid schemes are illegal either by mail or on social media if money or other items of value are requested with assurance of a sizable return for those who participate. Here's how the scheme works. If a consumer purchases one gift for a stranger, she will receive as many as 36 gifts in return. This type of gift exchange may seem reasonable enough in theory. 6 friends invite 6 more friends who all send gifts to the participant in spot 1 before that person's name is removed. This process repeats itself with the participant on the number 2 spot and so on. Of course, starting this gift exchange comes with a catch. You need to disclose your personal information, such as your home address. The people at the top of the pyramid benefit most and might actually receive the items promised. However, for everyone to receive what they've been promised, each layer of the pyramid must attract new recruits. It's mathematically impossible to sustain. If you receive a chain letter by mail, email, or social media, especially one that involves money or gifts, ignore it. Report the post to Facebook by clicking on the 3 little dots in the upper right corner of the post. Chops at the Burlington Marriott was flooded with beautiful music as Burlington Idol continued this week. Round 2 of the competition brought the number of contestants down from 9 to 5. BNEWS entertainment reporter Chris Flaherty was there and has this look.
Burlington Idol continued this week at Chops in the Burlington Marriott. All around, it was a fantastic night, but only 5 singers would be moving on to the semifinals. Each contestant performed 2 songs each. I spoke to some of them on how they chose the pieces they performed. Many of them selected based on a level of fun and personal connection to the songs.
So Hurt, it's kind of a song that like the deeper meaning to it is one that I can really relate to, so I thought that that would be like an appropriate song for me to sing. And Carrie Underwood, Before He Cheats, I just feel like that's a good song to get everyone involved and like the crowd jumping, so I just thought that would be a good one to bring a little bit of different vibes from my other songs.
I love Mamma Mia so much, and even though it's a song that's very hard for me to sing, I wanted to dance, I wanted to like be crazy and fun. And then the second one I chose based off of what I could actually sing. It relates to me, so I was able to sing it from my heart.
Mackenzie Clement, the only piano player among the contestants, explained how she chose which songs to perform.
I play piano and I sing, so I chose Killing Me Softly because I think the piano's so intricate and it's just kind of, I just love that song. And Benny and the Jets, it's so fun to have the audience just coming together and sing Benny with me, and just the whole thing of having a whole crowd involved is so awesome to me.
Molly Cooper played a song she penned herself and a song from the new film A Star Is Born.
Well, I saw A Star Is Born yesterday, and I just connected completely to the song Shallow and her experience as an artist and like wanting that breakthrough but not quite getting it. And then I sang my own song as well just because I obviously connect to it so well, and I was hoping people would relate.
And how is everyone feeling going on to the next round?
I'm really excited. I'm not going to do a song that is hard to sing for my voice, or like a song that's not suited to my voice anymore, because it made me really nervous.
I am super, super excited. The pressure is on, and I'm so ready for it.
I feel really good, a little bit nervous, but like more excited than anything. I already know what I'm singing, so I'm ready to go, and I can just relax and wait till next round.
I'm ready to bring my all, and yeah, everyone's amazing, so we're gonna have to see what happens.
5 remain, but only one will be crowned the first Burlington Idol. We'll be back next week to see who makes it through to the final round. This has been your BNEWS Entertainment Buzz. Flaherty out.
Thank you, Chris. The Rotary Club of Burlington said it is pleased to announce that Burlington resident Dottie Eden was recently honored as their unsung hero for all she does for the community of Burlington. Dottie is a local bus driver that has driven hundreds and thousands of children throughout the years, whether it was a sporting event or her traditional bus route, the group said. Dottie is a warm and loving woman who is always helping others. Dottie is also a member of the Burlington Hall of Fame and was Citizen of the Year this past July. Recently, many in the Burlington community have participated in events in support of Yeadon after she was diagnosed with cancer, including many high school sports teams she drove to games. We've had our first snow of the season, though it quickly turned to rain, so we don't have a winter wonderland quite yet. To see what is in store for the week ahead, we go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our weather center for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the upcoming week. And now it's hard to believe that this is actually going to be including Thanksgiving in this forecast. Really hard to believe that we are getting towards the end of the year already. Now, starting out our period on Friday, our temperatures are going to feel anything but like November. It looks like we're going to be seeing temperatures more like early to mid-January around here in the Burlington area. We're going to be starting off with highs only in the upper 30s, maybe even not that, maybe even only in the mid-30s on Friday, with a real slushy mix of rain and snow in the morning transitioning over to a really cold rain. And of course, if you have to be out and about at all on Friday night in the Burlington area, look at this. Our low temperatures down into the 20s, so we're going to have to really keep an eye out on refreezing if you're out there. Might be some slippery spots out there. And of course, that's well below what our average high at this time of the year should be. We should still be in the low 50s right now, but we are going to be pretty far from that as we go out through all the way out through Thanksgiving. And of course, unfortunately, we're going to be nowhere near this record high of 71 that we've seen many years ago. But we may unfortunately be much closer to this low temperature of 7 as we get in towards some of the overnights in next week. As we round up the period on Thanksgiving, our average highs should be about in the mid to upper 40s, and we're going to see much cooler temperatures again than that. And of course, as we notice right here, the days keep getting shorter and shorter as we head towards winter. Now, as we go ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather, and we're going to really focus on the first day of our period on Friday, because this is when we're going to see a real messy mix of rain and snow moving its way into the Burlington area and all of southern New England. We're going to see a fairly potent storm system moving up the eastern seaboard, and that's going to bring with it, going into Friday morning, a chance of some light, maybe moderate mixed precipitation. So we may see a mix of some rain, sleet, freezing rain, and just plain old rain, bringing maybe a slushy inch to even a couple of the models looking. We could see even up to 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground before we transition over to rain later in the morning. Now, as this storm system moves up by us and heads off to our southeast, that's going to bring the strong northeast winds down from Maine, and that's going to mean pretty chilly conditions, blustery out there, so a real wind chill probably down in the teens with some of that really cold, cold rain coming down. Now, as soon as the storm system moves out of our area getting later into Friday, that's going to usher in some fairly nice conditions as we go into the weekend. Bit chilly, but nothing compared to what it's going to be like in the middle of next week. As we get on towards the Tuesday time frame, we may see highs that don't get out of the 20s as we see another really cold high-pressure center move down from Canada over our area. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at some of those temperatures and the weather coming up for the next 7 days. And again, here we are starting our period on Friday with that real mess of the rain, snow, and sleet. Temperatures not getting out of the mid to upper 30s in the Burlington area. Now, once we get into Saturday and Sunday, it looks like if you're going to be out there doing any shopping for Thanksgiving, going out to the food store, you're going to have fairly pleasant conditions in terms of precipitation. It's going to be nice and dry, but definitely chilly, especially as we get into Sunday. Well, probably 40 is probably a little bit optimistic even on Sunday. And look at this as we get into the overnights, especially on here. Look at this on Monday. We see the chance of maybe some flurry action around the Burlington area with temperatures only in the mid-30s. Now, let's talk about Tuesday. This is going to be one of the coldest days that we've seen since last winter. 32 is very optimistic. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make it out of the upper 20s maybe. And of course, bone chilling at night down to the mid-teens. Now, as we move ahead into Wednesday, that all-so-busy travel day just before Thanksgiving, temperatures again are going to be pretty chilly but dry, so some easy in terms of traveling for that. And as we head into that important day on Thanksgiving, might see some light flurries around, and temperatures again only hovering around 40, so pretty chilly in the morning going out there for those early football games. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
And this is your community calendar. Come and see the jolly old man himself, Santa. From November 2nd through December 24th, the Burlington Mall will be having photos with Santa Claus. Everyone is welcome to get their picture taken. For more information, visit www.simon.com/mall/Burlington-mall or call 781-272-8668. Are you ready for some football? On Thursday, November 22nd at 10:15 a.m., the Burlington varsity football team will be having their annual Thanksgiving Day game against the Lexington Minutemen at Lexington High School. Everyone is welcome. Don't forget to bring your money. For more information, call the BHS Athletic Office at 781-273-7077. Learn a little bit about the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce. On Wednesday, November 28th from 5 to 8 p.m., the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce will be having their annual meeting at Tuscan Kitchen. The meeting will highlight the Chamber's accomplishments for this year, as well as the goals for the upcoming year. Everyone is welcome, and tickets are $50 for members and $75 for non-members. For more information and tickets, visit burlingtonchamberofcommerce.org or call 781-273-2523. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
Thank you, Maddie, and thank you, Peter. The fall sports season has come to a close. For a wrap-up of the final games, we go now to Joe Viscioni for this week's Sports Report.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Viscioni for your weekly Sports Report. The fall season is just about over at Burlington High, with only 2 events left on the docket for the Red Devil athletes. On Sunday, senior Rashad Prakash will represent Burlington at the All-State Cross Country Championships. Prakash has enjoyed quite a season for the Devils and qualified for All-State meet after winning at the Division III meet last weekend. Prakash took first overall by almost 15 seconds. Prakash is finishing up one of the better seasons in the history of the BHS program. Speaking of distance runners, Paul Hogan of Burlington was recently named the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association Northeast Regional Athlete of the Year after winning both the NCAA Northeast Regional Cross Country Individual Championship and the America East Cross Country Championship. Hogan runs for the University of Massachusetts at Lowell. Back on the high school sports scene, the girls' varsity volleyball team made an impressive run this year. Last week, they traveled to Tewksbury High School to take on the Linfield Pioneers in the MIAA State Volleyball Tournament. Unfortunately, their season ended after losing to the Pioneers, with the final score being 3-0. Coach Courtney Wall said that she couldn't be more pleased about the season and mentioned that this was a team that never gave up. The football team traveled to Revere last Friday night for a non-playoff game against the Patriots. We have some highlights, so let's check them out.
Last Friday night, the Burlington Red Devils traveled down to Revere to take on the Patriots. In the start of the third quarter, Revere got a field goal, making the score 20-14. Burlington would quickly answer back as quarterback Kyle Pena ran it himself into the end zone for a Red Devils touchdown, 21-20 Burlington. Later in the third quarter, quarterback Jonathan Murphy ran it himself for a Patriots touchdown. Now in the fourth quarter, Burlington was down by 5. But Revere had possession once again. Quarterback Jonathan Murphy would pull another QB sneak, making the score 32-21 Revere. With just over a minute left, Burlington was in red zone territory as quarterback Kyle Pena threw to Pat O'Halloran into the end zone for a Red Devils touchdown. Burlington got the 2-point conversion, but failed the onside kick. The Red Devils fell short, but it was a competitive game overall, with a final score of 32-29 Revere.
The Red Devils were preparing for their final game of the season, a Thursday trip to Lexington for the annual Thanksgiving Day game. Burlington is 5-5 entering the game, while Lexington brings an impressive 7-3 record into the contest. Tickets for the big game will be on sale next week. You can call the athletic office at 781-273-7077 for more information. Ticket prices are much cheaper if they are purchased in advance. That's all for your weekly sports report. I'm Joe Viscioni, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Joe. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week, we have a beautiful fall season captured by a young photographer. It was sent in by 11-year-old Alexandra Burke and shows the sun coming in through autumn leaves as a scene from her Burlington backyard. Thanks for the photo, Alexandra. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Well, that's it for this week's edition of BNEWS Weekly. I'm Linda McNamee. Have a very happy and safe Thanksgiving, and I'll see you around town. Good night.